Oh. Sangue chega no estômago. Cartu mende pisha, cartu bolo. Yeah, mende cartu pisha ndi bhe. Ndi. Eso. Finda. Sa shi pe ye jo ye me do da re ra lin shi nian de yan ba de ye jin do me de wo wa yi zhou hui nam da xin ba ju de le shu yi tang gu ru ran ma da la wan ji ya da ya mi san ge che da zo ki che na ma ja ju ba jo ja ni da zu ji da ri chu yi ki sa na La John Juba do Dani da Zuji, Nagi Junior gave it and yet over show. La John Juba do Dani da Zuji, give it on Angi, Dollar Benji Sanje to show. I got that. That day, very Lama Chopa cheese. The medicine. When the Tabarishi Lama Chopa Chotangi, yes, Chotangi, and Lama Chopa cheese, cheese, and Gishanani Chotaya, and it Odi Gavada Karine. That Hagu, but the Hagu is a near G. Chotani, a chimbatan. Yapachingris, some Ravachini Tange, Lama Chopa, So, from today, our subject matter is Lama Chopa in Tibetan. Sometimes they call it Guru Puja, Guru Devotion, Puja, stuff like that, and Lama Chopa in Tibetan. So then, she said he picked that topic because we do Lama Chopa practice every time. So we're doing this practice every teacher. So then he's hoping that if we have this commentary, simple commentary, so that it may help you visualize or to meditate on Lama Chopa when you do talk practice. So then so he's hoping it might help a little bit our visualizations while we're doing talk practice.
第三呢，他第二呢，小听过呗。
听回去了。
第三的第几他Lama Chopa say the chidang china Lama Chopa say the gone che nga the teori tambu gone teaching ales cinema nga the teori is chidang Lama Chopa di tande Lama Chopa say the muju chota Lama Chopa di chida Lama Chopa say the lamene jo kangal Lama Chopa chili lama audience attended the Lama Chopa say the chasa gone che nga tande tiare chida nga ne jo chaba chimbre ida ani chaije chimbu tan teore chaije chimbe ne jo tan audience shiragi tichi munzu gita share tezi baja share chi tu shiri yari mishi chidan chene munzu Lama Chopa tisi yadi chidan kabu res ine ya kabu ine ya marandu gita baja share chi tu baja ru chi share da ine cho den du tezi goyagi chi tu shiri yari res
Kale khabar hai karla wo kale khabar se
shayata
ale
ji na dan de di sa
let's listen.
shayati kale khabar ni tu ge de kale khabar di ne ya kale baja shayati ge chimbur face chesanti shuis.
So this subject matter topic of Guru Puj Lama Chopa is Vajrayana practice. So then so if you look at the text, so it begins with it's in English, not this text number 7, and in Tibetan it's the Deche Ngale. Deche Ngale means from the great bliss. Okay, so right away it talks about the Tantrayana kind of elements, right? The subjects. So that's why. So this is Vajrayana practice. So then in general, this kind of topic is really difficult and difficult to teach or difficult to understand. So nevertheless, so Rinpoche is willing to do this teaching just to leave, at least we can leave some imprints within in our mental continuum, something we can use, something we can useful in the future times. So then also it says this practice is really profound and really really awesome, the precious, because also this practice also contains or related to the practice of Mahamudra. Okay, Mahamudra, it has like Mahamudra kind of elements in it. So that's why this practice becomes really profound and really precious. So that's also, so our primary goal here is for this teaching is to have some imprints or the karma or to create some kind of relationship with that kind of practice. As it also helps us to do better meditation while we are doing this kind of practice by ourselves.
Oh, today, the Jingale Situtamba Nachogi Chagja Chimbu, the Wachimbi City, the Tunismi City, Nagi Nachogi Chagja Chimbu, Tires. Ni Nedung Lama did the Tunismi City, Nedung Lama Sigaris. Tangdug Lama than Nedung Lama Singari. 장두가 Lama 세야디 춘제 예배 시라게 남아 징기 Lama딜라 장두가 Lama 세 내중가 Lama 세 대동이 수미베 시대가 내중가 Lama 세 Lama Chopa 차게 전부 디레스 대진하래 어디
And right from the beginning of this text, it says, from the great bliss, a great bliss. So then the great bliss is Chagacham. Chagacham is the Mahamudra. Itself is Mahamudra. Normally, we have two kinds of Mahamudra, conventional Mahamudra and the ultimate Mahamudra. And also, we can say the conventional teacher, guru, lama, or the ultimate lama, guru, any the teacher. So then the ultimate guru means the great bliss. The great bliss is the ultimate guru, ultimate lama. And the conventional level of lama, so we can have a lot of like regular lama is the human being and so forth. So our ultimate lama is the great bliss. So we'll do tea offering. So now you can enjoy your tea and your rice.
아니 Lama Chopa 야부요. 이제 나부스도가 이제 별이 이게 좀마세지. 별에는 좀마게 좀마만 보세. 잡아쳐야 마부다님 같은 그레스 좀마부스 그레스. 이제 좀마레스.
And if you see this black thing, it's called Joma in Tibetan. So in Tibet, it looks like they mixed with they kind of boil in butter. They eat with butter, kind of butter, and soak in butter and cook in butter. They eat with butter.
Not yet.
Jak mana kanske? Jak mana teorier.
Yeah, my hammer.
Dre. Dre is Jack? No, Dre is a female.
This
Jak male.
yeah, see, look. Put it.
So delicious. What is
Jak male.
the male? Yeah, right. Dre is your female. Dre is a female. Milk. Dre butter. Dre butter. That's Dre. That's Dre. Very delicious.
Otine Lamen and Jose, and the Lamen and Jose. Lamen and Jotil, Chidan, Lamen and Jotil, Mambuyari. To go to Terra Lamen and Jose. Young to go to Terra Lamen. Can't see the Terra Lamen and Jose. Tomata Terra Lamen and Jose. The Lamen and Jose Mambuyari is the Lamen and Jose.
So when it comes to Guru Yoga practice, there are many types of Guru Yoga practices. Like Guru Yoga practice is related to the Kala Chakra, Guru Yoga practice that related to the White Tara and Avalokiteshvara and Tara and so forth. There are many Guru Yoga out there actually. So there are many Guru Yogas you can do.
Oh, teacher, Ani Tande de Karasure. Cherumba the Cherumbichita, Laminajo de la Niaris, Seguluki, Laminajos, Esani Guluki, Laminajos, Maniaris.
So then, in terms of Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga practice, there are two traditions. One tradition actually derives from the Segyu lineage, sort of the Se lineage, and that is Gandel Hagyama. Yeah, and there's another tradition called Ansapa ear whisper traditions. So there are two types of Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga practice.
That Chizunga Patatera, Lama Chopa, Talchevat, Laman Talchevat, the thing it is, did the Mandaria, and the like main but Seguluki, Lamenajo, Karasa, Lama Chopa, my English, and Jeremy, which is
but there are many other Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga practices. Guru Yoga practice. These two are the most popular practices in Giluk set.
Tine Tala Menejo Seati. Mani Alamene Josiatis, Sanjay Nemagi, Sanjay Sung Shabachiris, Lamene Josiati. Lamene Pena Chugu in the Chugu Shigala, Lamene Chibayaris. And the young pay Tomba Sanjay, my Jew Shabachiris, Sung Shabachiris.
So this kind of practice, the Guru Yoga practice is actually taught in the Shakyamuni's text. It's not that something made by Tibetan lamas in Tibet. So that is actually that kind of source came from Buddha himself. So Buddha actually taught about this kind of topic, the Guru Yoga practices. So then, if you look at in the four major traditions in Tibet, all the traditions they carry out the same practice, the Guru Yoga practices.
Ani Dochon Angachon Jena Dojitanga, Shigu Dojitanga Le, Ani Lamen Chini, Lama Tinju, Lama Kazu, Sobatinde, Jeba Sunyaris. Tilami Dojitanga singing it. What is
Lametini, Lametatu,
Lama Chini, Lama Taji, Lama Di. That's not Taji.
So then, in Vajrayana tradition, there is a text called the Vajramala. In the Vajramala text, it actually explains, describes sort of like the qualities of the teachers and the definition of the teacher, sort of like definition of the teacher, and how to check on teacher. You have to investigate sort of like is the teacher is qualified or not. So they actually gives you all the elements and tools how to do this kind of process, and at the end, then how to rely or how to devote and how to rely on teachers. So all of these practices you can find in Vajramala texts.
Tene dochone chene do the pebuji gopsu lamene alama tinju sunyaris. Tene shijing do the shi shira paradiching do the alama tinju.
And also you will find this kind of practice, the finding right teacher, relying on teacher, keeping the teacher as the source of your practices, sort of like how to rely on teachers, the Guru Yoga, in other words, like a Guru Yoga practice. You can find that practice also in Sutrayana tradition as well. So then the sutra, the Buddha Sutra is called the collection of something. It's the sutra, okay, sutra, and also I think it called like some kind of collection of something, okay, and then the sutra of collection of. So I need to look for that. I don't know. And also there's another text, the what do you call this? I will look at the profound text is called Alankara text, yes. So then also in the Alankara text, Alankara Truth Sutra also describes the qualities of the teacher. That is actually really similar to Guru Yoga practice.
Lama Tilayang, Duane Shivelamas, Dotini Shivelamas, Ningacho Shivelamas, that in the Lama Delay, direct Iris.
Duache.
Doti.
Duache.
Duan, Duan, Duasiachin, Doti, do it in
the color. Okay. So, and also in sutras, like there are many sutras describes how to identify and qualify teacher and so forth. There are 3 different sets. So, and in the Vinaya codes, okay, the Vinaya code it describes and identifies different types of teacher, and then in Tantrayana describes or identifies different types of teacher, and then in the Sutrayana they describes different types of teachers. Okay, so there are many ways to find the qualified teachers.
Lamenenjo said, taking the Chikores, Chida, Duane Sheven, Sanjet Java Takus, Lamati, Sanjet, Sanjet, Dushi Shaku, Sanjet Java, that which Duane.
So then, according to the Vinaya Code Sutra, so that actually describes you have to believe or you have to see your teacher as Shakyamuni Buddha. Okay, Shakyamuni Buddha. It's not necessarily you have to believe that your teacher is Shakyamuni Buddha or Buddha, but you have to see that teacher as Buddha Shakyamuni. And in general, Buddha. Not necessarily has to be like Shakyamuni, but in Buddha, like Buddha.
Lama Sanjay Dushi Shakus,
And the Sutrayana, according to Sutrayana tradition, so then it mandatory or that we have to look our teacher as Buddha, so that actually lift up a little bit higher.
And
when it comes to Vajrayana, so we have to look our teacher as Vajradhara. Buddha Vajradhara.
Lamala Sanja Yinguya Maris, Lama Signeti, Tamebe Yungiaris, Lama said, Lama Sanja Staku said, Takuyaris.
So then according to lumbering practice, lumbering in the tradition, and all the rest below lumbering practice, so then it's not necessary that you have to see your Lama is actual Buddha. There can be an ordinary beings or ordinary person can be your Lama or Guru. So then when it comes to Vajrayana practice, so then the Vajrayana practice is recommend or it's like mandatory that we have to see Lama is inseparable with the Buddha. Okay, Buddha. So there's like no notion of like a separation between your Lama and the Buddha.
Lama Sanja Stagu said, the Lama di Tinida, Denda. Lama Tinidilla, any Dotikin Sunya, Lama Tini, Lama Sanja Stagu said, Lama di Lama Tinida Dimbachi, Kuyaris.
So when it comes to the Vajrayana practice, so it said that you have to see Lama is a Lama and Buddha inseparable, right? Inseparable and like indivisible, not divisible. So that means like we have to be really careful from the beginning. So then there are many description how to find a right lamas and the qualification of the lamas and definitions of the lama in Sutrayana. You can find all this description in Sutrayana and all the in different texts, the lumbering texts and so forth. So you have to use that kind of tools and we need to find out the right qualified lama. So then you can see that lama as Buddha.
Today the Lama di ni Dindu Jamba Sini the Shunga Lama Sini Tangu Daje. And Lama di Dingu Yaris.
So then once you go through all this process, finding your right lamas and then using all these tools from different texts. So then once you're convinced, so then you will find a lama. So you will be convinced with that a particular lama. So then you can rely on that and you can actually dedicate yourself to that lama.
Today on the day, Nacho Minchetilla, any Chugadewa Union. Lame Karasure Rangi Lame Dushi Shani Chunia, Lame Dushi Mashane, Chunia, Benin Dochone, ni Cherina, ni Lamati. Chunia, the Lalo with Dushi Gone Chumangine, Jigis. Lalo with Dushi Chane, and Chunia Bayan, and Niku Dushi Bong with the Lamateri Duyaris, 지사 나로 주시 마셔고 거네 주인님 보이네 아니야 아 슈라 디 담지름 디 중순에 디 예버디 지 그래서 그래 단 얘가를 중요해야 돼서 아니 나로 그 주시던 제가 근데 주인님 보이는 디시기 아니 주시 샤바나 시제네 니지 님보이는 디지 그냥 그 개발 쳐야 돼서
나 감독님 시
정말 그 시제는 아니 나로 주시 샤고를 해서 그래서
So then, in Sutrayana traditions, so then when it comes to find a lama, so when you go out and receive teachings from different lamas, so there's two ways you can actually do sort of like, so you can go out and see that lama and receive some teachings from that. So as your friend, you can take all this knowledge and teachings from that particular lama as a friend. So that means like it's totally dependent on how you set up your mind, sort of like if you don't comfortable with that particular lama, so you can go out and take teachings as your friend, so you don't have to consider that individual as your lama. Okay, so then that kind of mindset you can develop and go out and receive teachings from that particular lama. If you do that, it said that you maybe you may receive like a less effect or less benefit by getting those teachings from that particular lama. But the good side of that is that, so if you develop some kind of conflicts with that lama, it says you will create less negative karmas. Negative karma. But if you decide to take that individual as your lama, and so then you take some teachings from that individual, so then so there's the good side about that is that you will receive more benefit by these teachings. It's like because of this special kind of connections that you can receive better blessings and so forth. So but the downside of that is that if you develop some kind of conflict with that lama, so then it creates more negative karma. So you have to compare what is comfortable with you. But when it comes to Sutna Tantrayana, so Tantrayana, there's no second options. There's only one. So you have to, if you receive some Tantrayana teachings from somebody, so then that individual becomes your lama, naturally. So you don't need to set up kind of special kind of motivation or anything, but you have to take that individual as your lama. There's no second options when it comes to the Tantrayana practice.
dine 다라면에 조세야 돼요. 아니 도전에 쉐비는 라면에 조시니티 근데 주고 그래서는 내 조세야 돼. 다 단데 라마 쉐브가 라마 쉐브가. 근데 라면에 조세야 돼다. 수수 냠내를 지르가. 그래서 라면에 조세야 돼 근데 쓰는데. 아니 대야가 라마티 견도 로카네 아니 가딘당 그래서 그래 이게 대국문에 아니 다야지 중수나 로카네 유해당 가딘 그거냐데 더주지 야부지 중수나 라면에 저 창식이 라면에 조세야디 라마딜 견도 로카 tadi dia cutting mana pe chỉ daya chỉ chúng số na daya các cái gì kiến thức lúc cái này hiện tại mana pe ta thu về chỉ chúng số na thì làm nên cho sẽ thì chẳng gì vậy mà ở đây gì na làm gì ta chỉ là cấp số làm gì cái cấp số 라면에 조시야데 라면에 조시기야 말이 신이 된 조시기야 마초르 비체는 라면에 조시기야 이 진이사다 라면에 조시야데 condition Guyaresina. Kendo Locane, they do in that to which Juna. Then the manager chance.
So then, in Sutrayana traditions, Guru Yoga, okay, in general, Sutrayana practice, in Sutrayana and the Tantrayana, they're really similar practices like the Guru Yoga. But in the Sutrayana tradition, we don't use the term Guru Yoga. Okay? So there's in Tibetan, it's called Shinya Densu. Shinya Densu means relying on teacher, sort of, and devotion to teacher, sort of like that. We use different terms in Sutrayana, but it's really similar to the Guru Yoga practice. And the Sutrayana Guru Yoga practice, or the developing some kind of devotion to your teacher, is that something so we have to look that teacher from the positive side. Yeah, trying to block out or try to not to look from the negative side of that Lama. So then if you have that kind of power, so like a practice, if you have done that kind of practices, so that is like the Guru Yoga practice. That means like you have to look the positive qualities, of the spiritual qualities of the teachers, and their kindness, to remember their kindness, develop some kind of faith sense and like their kindness and so forth. If you do that, that is like a Guru Yoga practice in Sutrayana tradition.
Dineya Lama the Sangi Yen Mechibarchi, Deljuji, Lesuna, young Lamanejos, chance, Lama Seati, Lama Sangi Stud, Lama Sangi Shakucher, Tina Shije, Lama Sangi, Chuda, Madrid, Nawarabji, Junisuna, Sangi Gutune, Lama Tintune. Lamatin the Sanjay to Yagrapti. Stindig Beji Johnson, young Lamanager Signity. Tangi, Tayat, and Lamanager Signity Rally. Tangi.
Dojonova. And also, and there's also another type of the Guru Yoga practice in Sutrayana. So then once you're able to, so the degree of the Guru Yoga practice in Sutrayana is something that you will able to see Lama as Buddha. Okay, Buddha. That means like you will have some kind of vision that when you see Buddha statue, sort of like a Buddha statue, so at that stage you will remind you your Lama. And when you see Lama, so that Lama actually helps you to remember Buddha's kindness, sort of like that. If you have that kind of coordination, so in your mental, so that is Guru Yoga practicing Sutrayana.
Oh, Tine, the correction. Ani Lamanager Signity, the Karesina, young Rangi, Lama Timba, Chendi. Jenny, Lama Dushi, Lama Tirva, Lama Dushi, Lama Tile, Tingy to them, but you could be a Tingy to them, but the Lame, Tingy to them, but Lama Tingy to them, but the Rangi at the Lama Lalo Dushi Shani Temple Lama Tirva. Oh, the Alo Dushi maybe in a children to me to visit. Nyamba yene lalo dushi jen mene inde nyamba yene te to sulu datu ti lamene jo singeti kubi amarba lama chuti ten amarba oti esa tati lama chingi de lama ti sigere chingi de lama tele rangi chunji lamen dushi shabe kone chunji tobati la sigiru lama kain la sigi marba odi tida tat tinji chiche
So and then so here we're talking about Lama, right? Lama, we need to see Lama as your Buddha, as Buddha. So that means like so that Lama refers to your personal Lama, okay? So and it has to be qualified Lama, has to be the how do you call this? qualified lama, sort of a qualified lama. So, and also you have to have some kind of relationship with that lama. It means like you got to receive some teachings from that lama, the individual. So if you have all these things, so then you can consider that as your lama. And also you have to have kind of some dushe. Dushe means feeling, sort of like feeling. You have to have a feeling that also that individual is my lama, and I am actually his or her student. So if you have that kind of feeling, like a dushe sort of feeling, so then then you receive teachings from that individual, then that individual becomes your lama. So then you have to see that lama as the Buddha. Okay, Buddha. It doesn't mean that all qualified lama, so you have to look all qualified lama as a Buddha. So then when it comes to guru yoga practice, it's totally talking about your personal lama.
That is then in yes, and Carresena. Lamada Chudan, the now Chichusuna. And Lamed Sanjay Chinlop sing it in you. Carresena, Rana Kevin Yuri. Sanjay Chinlop, Lama Sanjay Stabbing son. Many Sanjay Tamje, Lame Lulishune, Lama Tame Bayine, Lame Lulishune, and Chubala Sobat. 아니 로마기 귀 진질라비치도 아니 라메 류리슈네 진짜 지리요래 다 라마 탐에 버지네 이산 라는 키면 친구요래 상계기 진럽류야라 아 상계기 진럽디 지다 상계기 진럽디 라마 귀니 주고제래 메시다 메시메나 아니 미메 되게 야 이게 그래서래 아 다시 수바생 누구 말봐 메시지 때문에 아니 파워스야지 심베르지 메시를 때문에 간제 라메 진럽디 상기리 진럽디 카둘만 주야 매르바 라마 기니 주구여봐 어디 주구에서는 다들 딘주 딘에 중소나 아니 라마 딘에 대발라 랑디 딘주 딘에 중소나 아니 상기리 진럽 간가 주구용기 제상 라를 키벤디 라미 진럽 주가디 아니 고럽디 딘 라마 딘주 추신 어디에서 개발이 버려 라마디 담이바 얘네 아니 상계기 진럽디 주고요 버려 상계기 진럽 주발라 예 그래서 그래 어디에 랑게 땡주디 상계도 예매 버리지 다주 조선은 라마 진럽 주 그래서 상계비 라마티 상계도 예매 버다인도 좀 봐. 저 상계래. 상계를 주시 샤버를 봐. 인도 좀 봐. 상계는 주시 샤버에서 아니 디 상계기 챙기를 봐. 아니 상계 전부 중화를 봐. 아니 디지 랑 진럽디 주비야. 인상 랑 기뱅이 어디 인상
so when we able to see our lama teacher as Buddha, so there's a significant kind of benefits. So then it said that so then we can receive Buddha's blessings really easily, because we were able to see this, even though the individual, the Lama, is an ordinary being, but we are seeing that individual as actual Buddha, right? All the qualities of the Buddha. So because of their reason, because of our conviction, so then it said the Buddha has more accessible to kind of send their blessings to us. So that is true because so when we so we as an ordinary being, so we do not have access, access to reach Buddha's quality, Buddha himself, and Buddha. So then we have to use a medium, right? Medium like like a teacher, ordinary, even though it's an ordinary being. So we have to use the medium to receive blessings of the Buddha. So we cannot actually we cannot actually receive blessings of Buddhas directly to us. We have to use the medium. It's like a magnified glass, right? So when we put in the sun, so that actually the magnified glass actually helps the concentrate all this the lights, the sunlight, and creates some kind of the laser beam kind of thing that actually hits on like cotton, like a piece of cotton that gets actually sets fire. Similar like that, we need to use medium like the magnified like glass. So then and also it's true that when we able to see Lama as actual Buddha, so and actually we are contemplating on the qualities of the Buddha. So we are looking him or her from the divine aspects or the Buddha's quality, right? So because of that reason, so then we were able to receive blessings of the Buddha because of our mental attitude, because of our mental ability. So then we receive blessings of the Buddha. So then that's why this is the really crucial or important of our practice in order to receive blessings of the Buddha. So we have to see Buddha, our Lama as Buddha. And there again, so that when we talk about Lama, so Lama has to be qualified Lama, it has to be like the sort of like good Lama. And also we need to create some kind of special bond or special relationship with that Lama. So if we have all these elements, so then it's that the Buddha actually sends their blessings to that Lama.
The Beji, and to touch Persia Jerva, Happiness Kuguti, Hajj. We didn't to Sulit, happy you get a happy to Tambaku, Chigi, Kobala Chigi, same should we ever. Did you do that? Namju the same the copaling in a switch. Shuya Hadi Simdi Creed Kobal Shubiari. Then I see each of it. Any Sanjit Devachain, Sanjit Lama Lulishu, Lama Lulishu, Lomala, Chingilapi is Benan Manando Tame Bala Jig Kobal Jig Shubu to us. Sanjiti, any Karasure. She Juvala Suba can get touching by yourself. Nichish and the Tamebel Haji, Tamebe Mikasaji, Rila Shune, and Chichiduga, happy search. Or did you do a dinner? She still Sanjay Shavina. The Lulu Shune, Church, Penetrator of Shane. Sanjay did Lulu Shune. Need to choose up chair into you. Because in Kola Sanjay Dushi Shavara, Sanjay Dushi Shine, Sanjay Kingrava, Sanjay Tanjay Kingri, Kimanashi, Lulu Shune, and Lomala, Chinat Nangi.
So then you may wonder how can that be possible? So like Buddha actually kind of possess ordinary being, like a body, and receives blessings from us. So our blessing us, right? So then that is similar like oracle mediums, right? So then when whatever the demon or the spirits or the gods or whatever, when they possess that individual's mind becomes inactive, sort of inactive. It's not like functions, not functioning at the moment. Kind of keeps them in like in dormant state. Right? So then it takes over the second individual, that body, and kind of uses that body and acts all kinds of things, right? Similar like that. So, but since the body, the Buddhas are like omniscient beings, so then when they see any potential, the disciples or disciple or recipient or individual, something they can help, so then they can actually travel right away. So they can just that comes in front of you right away, like easily. So then because of your faith, because of your the right kind of view or the contemplation, conviction in that Lama, so seeing that Lama as that Lama as Buddha, so then Buddha will know right away. So then they can come and use that the Lama's body, and sometimes they give teachings to the Lama's body, and sometimes they can take your offerings from that Lama. So using that Lama's body, and they can actually perform all the spiritual activities, similar like the oracle mediums, right? The medium. So then the only matter is that we have to create the right circumstances, like right karma, sort of right karma. You have to develop some faith. You have to be able to see the Lama is as Buddha. So if you create all these right circumstances, so then the Buddhas, they comes naturally, so easily, sort of like naturally. So then they can actually perform all the spiritual activities.
오늘 동리식 해야 되고 다음에 버티기 이제 동리식 쉬고도 대신에 남주고 그 somebody marriage 지슈야 되게 somebody can 지지도 봐 쉬고도 봐 어때는 시다 산제도 더 이렇게 계기선 어디 배들이 때름 치면서 이제 남들이 가담벨라마 때지 때름 치면서 야리 이 가담벨라마 지금 숨으리 어디나라 남배디 dinge 샤야리스.
So that is so then the similar like ordinary being can possess ordinary being, right? Like a spirits and so forth, they can possess ordinary being. Similar like that. So then since the Buddhas are really skillful kind of beings, so they have power, they have abilities. So of course they will use, if they see something that usable for them, so they will use the similar kind of method to help sentient beings, and that kind of, this is actually, you can find that kind of example, or it's really classic kind of example you can find in a text called the Kadamba's text, the path to the enlightenment, I think. So like path to the enlightenment. In that text, you can find that kind of analogous or the examples how Buddhas perform their activities through the mediums of the teachers.
The Sadaches the sharing Garrison, the Lama said, another 20 said to Zamba, Tambukone, Tajia Bush, Ding he then being a devil or somebody, some sort of Chitena, Yapuyaris. Tambukone Taja, maybe can't fight you with Chitine, and I'm Shichilaya, then come on, but I had teachers on it, 30 Yapuri made. And it is teacherians and Sanjay to Nigama, Tambu Yapuche, and it is. Ji Janet Denkuberry. Just a Tambu Lama Tindune, Yapuch Denkuber, Sini Charge. Touching Dana G Shula Kanget Samari, some sort of junior, and Denguer. Imagine Jenny Lamsanti. Ani generate Thompson and some carton Jim Giarba.
So that's why so we actually talked about how to find teachers in the beginning of the teachings, because this is really crucial and really important part of your spiritual journey. Because so at the beginning, so we have to be really careful in order to find a teacher, right teacher. So then we need to sort of like investigate. We need to find out whether it's like really a right teacher for you or not. So then you have to go through that kind of process in the beginning. So then once you kind of establish teacher and disciple relationship with an individual, so then it's really danger if you develop some kind of aversion or some kind of negative thoughts towards that lama. So that it said that it creates really heavy bad karma. Yeah. So then so we normally we do that. So when we hear about a lama and a fame about a lama, so we tend to run after that lama, and without any checking, without any pre kind of sort of like checking. So we just go and receive teaching and just create some kind of teacher and disciples relationship. We just establish that kind of in all sudden, like without doing any pre-check, sort of like that. If you do that, so then in the future, so if you, of course, you will see some mistakes in that lama. So then because of your vision, sort of like sometimes misunderstanding. So we will have that kind of difficulties in the future. So once you have that, so then it's really difficult to control your mind. So not to kind of get angry at that lama or and need like develop some kind of negative kind of thoughts towards that lama. It's really difficult. So that's why I said it's really important to take your time and even though you take some teachings from that individual, so you can just go as so your friend and take this teaching as like knowledge from that individual. So then if you do that, it's more safer and it's like a better in the future.
Dine chunde yebatela jen jeba neriba masa chidane sule ine kyunchu digmaris. Paresene rana kyunchu sune rana kibumi dugas. Rana kyunchu ngichuna rana kange chigduga rana rana yimiti chen kange semna kibu yungmi duga. Dinashin rangi shenla kyunchu gyumebris. Karesene ane pena dondura chile kyunchu miris sunere chugnale jena karesne kula sanje riyaris dondura chile kyunchu miris pena donduti chi doye butu sene ralan doye butu sene ralan karasugure mendebelo kigire ralan kange tigirwa Tinashi rangi shinla gyunju tsilsingeti tan maju mevi karesina tande chunde yebatina alajang kansa shinda chile gyunju suna rangla gyunju na kandido rangla kange chigido tinashi chibari shinla gyunju singeti gyunju maju yamari gyunju chigu yamaris pena kansa tami bajine kirab jine gyunju miris jebari odi insan odus gechimbaris.
So it said that now once you take that individual as your lama, so you're not supposed to criticize that lama, you're not supposed to talk bad thing about that lama. So it doesn't mean that the lama is all the way right, or the lama may be lama, or maybe it's like so maybe lama might have some problems, sort of like problems, or or so maybe it's your misunderstanding. It could be your misunderstanding. Nevertheless, whatever it could be, but in general, it said that we are not supposed to criticize any sentient beings, even though their sentient beings is really like lower than you, even like animals. Like so, you cannot actually criticize them. You cannot actually do bad things towards that individual. This is in general kind of norm of our practice. So you cannot actually criticize any single sentient beings. So then when it comes to our teacher, it's more serious. You have to take more serious about that kind of practices, so the negative practices. You cannot actually criticize your teacher, because of your misunderstanding. It could be because of your misunderstanding. It could be true, so that teacher might have some problems. Similar, like you can relate it to your own kind of experience. So let's say, like if someone tells you you look ugly or something, says something bad about you, even though it could be true, but it actually kind of hurts you, right? So similar like that. So then the Lama might have some problems, or maybe it's your misunderstanding, whatever it could be. And then if you criticize your Lama, that is actually bad in general. So then when it comes to your Lama, this becomes more serious. So that's why it says we should not criticize our Lama once we take that individual as your Lama.
Oh, Ranglu Pen was leve. Rang Pelanguris.
Line.
Just Chitani Kadigi Subiaris, Kaditi. I don't cheat tear the Vani Millie, Genji, I can get you. And that you had the Mavche. She Kaji shares it to Nani, Genji, the Abu Maris, the Chidu Maris, Carisana, Rana Genji and the Dugumenduba. Didn't she shandy Genji? Shandy Marba. Mendubians and Mendubigang at Terence with Tibasa Yerba. Or these and the Nadi never could get in said the dairy. Nadi never could get in city. Nadi cut this weird.
So then so most of the time when we talk, we engage with people, talk with people. So when you look at our speech, so most of the time we kind of talking something bad thing about someone else. So we do kind of criticize, or we do say some bad thing about others most of the time. So that's why it says, so we have to be really mindful, sort of like on our speech. So then we have to be consciously, consciously, you have to think, why you're speaking, why you're talking. So then if you being mindful in our speech, so it's like you cannot control your speech. So it said that in some texts it said all of our problems is rooted, like the root of our problem is our speech. They said that. So that's true. So we talk with people, we say something we're not supposed to say something. So then that actually creates some conflicts between others and between all people. So then it becomes a problem. So that's why. And in general, in general, sort of like we have to be really mindful about our speech.
I let it alterate. What day? Don't do change the Genji to Yammer said the Pajanal areas. And about that, Chitantina. My messenger Tamjas, she left her. Cutting Chimney, but Chibari. Don't do so rangy messenger Tamjas to Sinjatin around margin, but the incident cutting chamber. Nego could really give it a mission. Dana cutting chamber, Sierra Dakan. Just on cutting chamber with Hamadil, baking to jealous of the Yerba. In my second, Sanjay, read to somebody. Sanjay Gubajana, Jabanashi, Kola Gubache. Kola Kimchi Jana, Sanjay 2 gig memory. Kola Nerdy Jana, Sanjay 2 gig memory. Kola Kimchi Jana, Kola never cheveraba. Never chess and 2 gig memory. Things are not to be. Chitano did is just a Manazuli. Sanjay 2 gave a chihuahua. Sanjay Sanjay Nuti Jesona. Sanjay 2 gig marva. Just Sanjay Mishani Junju Jesona, Sanjay Nuti Jeff. Never said the Dilva. Teaching the 그런 그 고바이네 semblem yimi dikigrba ni di ma se ku yunju se di ma bu ne shenda la kula yunju jeba di kula ya ji kare ne ne ju di da di du.
So then he said that we are not supposed to criticize even like in any sentient beings. So there's many reasons why we should not criticize or harm sentient beings. First of all, we have taken bodhisattva's vows. So bodhisattva vows, one of the bodhisattva vows element is that so we are supposed to see or look entire sentient being as your mother. So that means that we have to contemplate on their kindness and also all sort of things. This, so when you see sentient beings as your mother, so naturally we kind of think about their kindness. So since they have contributed their kindness, so that like help to me, so then how can I actually criticize, how can I actually harm that sentient being? This is the reason why we should not harm sentient beings, because we have bodhicitta vows, right? So the another reason is that so if you harm sentient beings, that actually displeasing our Buddhas. So Buddhas, their primary focus or their primary practice is to help sentient beings. So then our practice is to please the Buddha. So then if you want to please Buddha, so then the best way to please Buddha is to help sentient beings. Try not to harm, like a restraint, sort of like a harming sentient beings. If you do that, that actually is pleasing sentient Buddhas. So if you harm sentient beings, that is kind of like the displeasing Buddha. So then if you do that, we believe that displeasing Buddha is something that's really bad karma for us. So because of that reason also, we should not criticize or harm any sentient beings, including your teacher. So
Sanjay kare Sanjay no ngala nabi so Sanjay singing this to the Sanjay digi mi shukran ya marba. So Sanjay no ngala nabi Sanjay ne chuna ngala churi Sanjay.
And also Buddha said that if you harm sentient beings, if you give them pain, so that is actually giving pain to me. If you make sentient beings happy, if you please sentient beings, that is actually pleasing me. He said, so that indirectly we are worshipping Buddhas if we help sentient beings.
That's the issue in my the Lama Chopa gonna mad any Shias.
So then the next class we're going to start from the text. Yes, actual text.
Oh yeah.
So it looks like we have 30 more minutes. So if you have questions.
I have a few questions. So Shay was talking about how, like an oracle, then the protector or whatever possesses the oracle, and they become active. So it's the oracle's mind that. So what is it like when you meditate on bodhicitta first, and then you're moistened by bodhicitta, and then you meditate on emptiness? So what's happening is that it's just being the mind is influenced by all that, by the spirit. So likewise, the teacher is held by the dark guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, I didn't get it exactly.
Okay, so she said that like the oracle, when there's an oracle, then the spirit of the oracle or whatever takes over the body.
Yes.
What's happening with the mind? That's the first part. So it just influences the mind, or it's the oracle's mind, and then I'll ask you the second part.
This is current under the Hababra. Habab the Zambalaya that Ishiba the Shuis Chirua. This should do Zambala Ishiba the Cooks Blue Division that the Chip Habami made the Koran Karchi Resa. This same thing, Balan, lots of
Semtima Balan is Rang Semtima never Chipa, Charles Chipa. Shung Semti could put the knowledge, Shuis together. And you couldn't do the shame wherever. Shumedi, what is Krang, what did it?
So it's like for instance, let's say like I'm an oracle, right?
Mhm.
When the divine being, sort of a divine being, whatever, so they possess me. So my mind becomes inactive. Is it?
Okay, the mind actually becomes an
Yeah,
That's
my
what it
mind,
is.
my mind. So then the whatever the being, the second being, they takes over my body, and he kind of acts all things.
Okay, so now in terms of the Lama being the medium
Okay.
for the Buddha,
Okay. So you're asking what happened to the Lama's mind?
right? And then I want to ask you because in terms of Buddha nature, because in terms of the reason why Buddha nature is present in all beings.
Mhm.
One of them is the ability to be touched, sentient beings to be touched by the Dharmakaya.
Mhm.
And what's that? That's the teachings that we received through the Lama.
Mhm.
So can you connect those?
What was the second?
So I wanted to hear what Rinpoche what you got the first part, right?
Yes, I got that.
Then the second part is because there of one of the three reasons
Yes.
why Buddha nature,
Yes.
why Dewa Shakti Nimpo
Mm.
is found in all beings,
Yeah.
is that they're able to be touched.
Touched by Buddha, you're saying.
The Dharmakaya.
Oh, Dharmakaya. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
What is the Dharmakaya? It's actually the teachings through the Lama, right?
Okay.
So can you connect those two and have Rinpoche
Ben
comment?
this year. The Tashudu Zambala medical sent Palani War. Lama Sangi Shudu Zambala, the Lama sent the culture was digitambatu teaching. Never the center Tamja like a digital rigorous larva. Digital rigorous data. So Morang does some Judosina. That Sangi digital ritiche. Mazuki digital richura. The Dini Patsu Tuche. That the color that found to you. Chelabdo must be Jugado. That Sungju to Sungju to the little Chelabdo to Jugadi that color Chugu. Chugura, this year we could Chugur was Chugu with the Lasa. Or the Sungju to the Samaraya to some what the Desi Reves. Those like
that the Sunju that Lamel Village, Chusungurva, Chusungati, Sanji Sumbe Surchiris, Dushi of Shasuna, and Dushi Shasuna, Lamala Sanji Dushi Shavin, Lamati.
Lama simply Deo.
Yeah,
Lama simply Mel Chemala.
never change, Yard, sim Yardis. Then the Tadene goes to Sim Rapid on the Jurava. Seem to try no sim singing the Yaris. Yeni at the paling into shop. Sim Rapid charge Yerva. Any Mama much Jordan Gatoba King seem to try no the no sim the young one to Jugari. Sim Rapid to get the marriage chat together. But then I see Yaris and then I run to Lames Simti. Parangivis, Richiche, and then Sangi to the Rambi, Lame to the Yemen to choosing at the Inguiaris.
The simply your lover. Lama sent your
Yari.
Lama sent the Palnier, so lower.
Parangi, Tandanegos, Shinda Lungsum the years here. And you Shinda Lungsum Chita, Rabel Lungsum Years. Shinda Lungsum the Yaris, Yini and the Chawachi at it.
The Lamek is sent the Shinda the shower.
Yaris, Yini, Chawachi at it, Sanjigi. Sim Chawachi here, that's did Chawachi at the Digneg of Sanji. Loving Lumi Sugar Theatre. Sanjig is to Chawachi here.
So Chawakan the chill.
Sanjay choosing out Yarva. Kusun to Yermichverva, who should two dish with it. We 숨비추 되네요. 이 투디 대야리스.
That too. The
라메디
Lamegi kalra ore the
셈디 바랭이
need me wodila sangi to the shoe se ora veta.
네.
The shoe and the some of the charlas no. So that is like so yes. First of all, said that when you listen to the teachings, right? Teachings. So all the teachings are Buddha's talk. Okay, Buddha's talk. That's definite. So then when you convince,
산지 두시 마시는 유아야 메르바.
so when you convince that Lama is Buddha, so then the of course the teachings, all the teachings belongs to Buddha, right? Buddha Shakyamuni. So then you have that kind of special kind of relationship. Okay, that. So then the Buddha can actually enter in the Lama's body. The way Rinpoche describes it, not exactly like how they possess the ordinary being. Okay, so it's saying like so Lama has Lama has the ultimate the subtle mind, right? Mind. That is the place that Buddha can use. Okay, so they can enter in, mix and blend with that kind of nature with Lama. Yeah, so all the activities and of course the teaching itself is Buddha's talk. It's not like this Lama's talk, Lama's speech or something like that. It's Buddha's teaching, right? So then the Buddha can actually use that place to enter into Lama, and then use all the Lama's gross level of all the Lama has also the gross level of all this consciousness and all these things, right? So he can use from that all the Lama's body and all this other the consciousness. It primarily depends on how we set up our motivations. As long as if you have conviction, as long as if you have faith, so Buddha actually travels, like naturally, so comes swiftly, sort of like the Buddha will be there all the time if you have the faith. The reach in those two areas.
아람도 신기해. semran 신기 요새왔지. 산지리스. 이 요새는 길로 그거 찍어야
So then the Buddha nature Sangye. So Buddha nature, Buddha doesn't have Buddha nature. Yeah, Buddha nature is the potential. Okay, so some kind of seeds. So all the sentient beings, they have that seed, but it's not real Buddha. Okay, Buddha doesn't have that. I must make that kind of distinction for your second question.
Okay, I'll think about what Rinpoche said. Thank you very much, and I'll see what I think about. The other question I had, if you don't mind, I guess it also has to do with how you talk about the definition. Because when you say all reached by the wisdom Dharmakaya, that is through the Lama teaching Buddha's teaching. So, but yeah, I understand what you said. Thank you. What did you mean? Did Rinpoche mean a specific book when he said the Kadam text? Path to Enlightenment?
Yeah, so Terim Chemo. I think Terim Chemo. Yeah, I think it's like the path to the enlightenment, right? It's actually the author of that text is good. It was a Katamba. He was Katamba, and Minka is Dolungpa, right? His name was Dolungpa. Yeah. He was Katamba master.
I have a question, very easy. I practiced only the preliminary, just contemplate or visualize Vajradhara in the military. Now I have many thoughts about, whether I should consider many Lama who gave me teaching or refuge, because I take a lot of refuge. I would like to consider all lamas in consider as Vajradhara. Is it wrong?
다 그런 디스 그런 나라디 그런 검 나올래야 도지창 공유였어. 도지창 공유서 막 당하러 그런 라마 망보잖니 땀도 뭐 쉬요. 라마 참아 도지창 공학 다는 디그레 디그리. That's total fine. Yes. Yes, you can see all your lama as Vajradhara. Yes.
도지장 찍고 아니 라마 탐제 디 다니르 지금 되게
So yeah, you just visualize one figure in your meditation object, right? Vajradhara. So you can think of that is actually an aspect of entire lama, your lama.
Many lamas.
Many
not
lamas,
only
yeah.
one.
I have a question. Remember Shay was talking about not criticizing other sentient beings? Is it possible sometimes we have to talk to people and they might feel uncomfortable, not like it, but it might not be criticism because we might be helping them? Is that possible?
It's not criticism, right?
That's what I want to know. Even though
Oh,
it might,
okay.
sometimes we have to talk to people and it doesn't feel comfortable for them. But
Maybe you wanted to talk, that's why you're talking. Just kidding.
yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering if I'm telling myself that maybe it is criticism. How do you know the difference between really needing to talk to somebody or criticism?
Depends on me, Kashila, get a shake or love wars. That did love this, but any colony at Chicken, what that's a pet or colony at Chicken, the show was something to care, and if you get the nerd waters. Never get 6 of blood, 6 of sage, shall I? Gunja, she says, or Jora. Gunja said the machine, the second digital showers.
지도시다 직구야 야말이스. 직구야 지금
참선 인지미지 라고 거르사.
참선이 라고야 야말이. 따고리 라운드 케베야 지금 된다 유니지 아니 라야 주나 라고야 미시 된다 메니지 라고 때문에 랑 강에 봐. 파조 강에서 라레 강에서 이제 담보군에 삼는다니 일라나 라레 기내 가르도 신다레 기내 가르도 따외 아니 그 랩가체 계지만 불러 파조디 나만도 안 라치 버사 이래 지 랑게 된다 제니 카운 망트 제니 디리야 다 된다 제니 최로 된다 샤는 디리야 근데 말이지 지도 진이 최비 시기 지도 소리 된다 제니 아니 미 나와도는 티야버리 나와만도는 아니 메네 미 나와만도 되는 미 나와만도 라치 버사 니니가 맵치로
So, Mr. kind of saying, you have to kind of judge the closely, sort of like the circumstances, sort of like. Sometime, if you're trying to help someone, right, so that can actually create more problem instead of helping them, so that can actually create more problems. And also, you should think that if you're trying to give some advice, sort of advice. So why you are doing that, so then you have to look at that. So why you are doing this, right? So then you have to look from like both sides. Is this beneficial to you or is beneficial to them, right? So then most of the time, if it's not something to do with you, it's better to keep quiet. That's it. Because instead of helping them, so you can actually create more problems. So it's kind of like you're kind of getting into someone else's, the problems or something like that. So they may not ready to listen to you. In general speaking, I would say if you're talking about Dharma talk, like Dharma teaching or something like that, that is totally fine. So you can talk, so you can talk about like a Dharma, Dharma kind of teaching or something like that. But try not to give them some kind of advice. Try not to help them to fix their problems. It's not relevant. Yeah.
as far as guru, so if you accept somebody as guru, do you have to go to refuge to that person, with that person before?
Go refuge means to take refuge vows.
Yeah,
Okay.
take refuge.
其实这个在
Something.
其实这叔叔给给的我就这个什么，你在那讲不懂吧？已经就学了也是。 No, it's not necessary. You don't need to take refuge vows from that. No.
So I'm still not very clear about the refuge vows. Like a lot of people take refuge vows at different seasons. What's the purpose of?
Oh, you're taking like multiple kind of the vows in the refuge vows. 每次都看见讲不懂吧？养就学过是吧？
양조 쉬는 디그레 안 잠도 따바리 잠도 지구도가 디 잠도 양데 양 쉬네
잠도 랭고로 또 봐.
그래 링게야 잠도 링게야 잠도 담바세야디 잠도 디레다 야야지 지 지디 잠도 제거야 지금 되게 마음이 치에그러 수 개변때 준 거를 봐 야야 신하람도 잠도 야야 전에 뒤지 초세도가 잠도 야야 잠도 덤버세야지 아니
이제 미지산 랭고가 말.
그건 말이야 아 잠도 덤버세야지 그래서 그래 야야 내는 지게리 야야 내는 꽤야 말이지 and jamdu yang chen jamdu chi chen jamdu yang chen juen yang ma jamdu dong ba yang le ni juen yang ma juen yang.
So like whenever you recite these 4 lines, you know, I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, literally you're taking vows. So this is actually a taking form of vows. Okay? So then so you can do this in like a formal way too. You know, go to like multiple teachers, different teachers, and take vows and to refuge vows. That's the same thing. I'm saying you're taking by yourself or taking from someone else, but you're taking refuge vows all the time when you recite that. And also, if you take multiple times, right? Multiple times, there's no wrong with that. I'm saying the more you take, the better. Then there's nothing wrong with that. So it's not a mistake. I'm saying.
rangi migi jamdu yaya ling tu rangi len ko yaya mari
And also, if you find someone's taking vows multiple times, so then you really don't need to compete with them too.
So when you're talking about ceremonies, right? The ritual ceremony. Because I was afraid that I don't hold up my end of bargain and then I'll be going to hell if I keep doing. That's
right. tadi tamdo mambo lesson tamang was it too much gave so that shit more than the gentleman nyala mat 10 years ago we saw this can you choose like you said
the yamares jamdu tomba gadelene chi te mara pena kelonda rabjung tomba lambe ne kenye tomba lana ti tondu yare kelong tomba ta tondu yare kenye tomba ta jamdu tomba lana ti tomba komba ton se ti yamare ton ya ti yamare
this is the refuge vows. You can take many times as much as you want. There's no kind of like downside for that at all. For instance, as ordained monk or nun, right? Ordained monk or nun, it said that if they take lay person's vows, that lay person's vows actually disrupt or actually kind of like I don't know how interrupt. You lose the ordained monk's vows. Okay, so if you take refuge vows, right, they will that it won't actually lose your ordained vows at all. This is like a universal kind of vows, and so you can take many times as much as you want.
We can't, but you can.
And you can.
We can.
The refuge vows you can take.
She can take it, but yeah.
The layperson, like an ordained monk, right?
Mhm.
If they take layperson's vows, then we just kind of like comparing between layperson's vows and the refuge vows. Okay, if someone has ordained vows, right, fully ordained vows, or the novice, whatever, right? If they take the layperson's vows, that layperson's vows actually loses, kind of like loses the ordained vows. If you take, if anybody take, the refuge vows, that actually does not loses your ordained vows.
나는 점주던 것에 개농계 렌추게 기주게 렌추게 개인게 렌추게.
So in another words, like the refuge vows can take anybody, like an ordained monk, ordained nun, lay persons, anybody can take it repeatedly. So.
Yeah. That is very shashank.
Okay, we can stop here. Jungxi me do zhang ri rao li xi nin de jian ba de san ge xin do mi de wu wa zhu ge nam da xin la jia ba xiu go wu ra na man da la ba ni ya da ya me
장주
sem jo ren bo che ma ge ba nam ge ju ji ge ba nyang ba ne ba la ko ne on do pe wa shu
가리라에
xin yang de pe na de jie re se wa den zhen jia zuo yi xia ge si de ma du den yu ji
여 군도 양다
Lama